Hello, my name is Jeff Bost. I'm a physician assistant, and I've worked along with my colleague, Dr. Joseph Maroon, for ACTIVZ as a scientific advisor. Dr. Maroon and I both work for University of Pittsburgh Medical Center in the Department of Neurosurgery. We've been asked to provide some information on the ACTIVZ products today. We're excited to do that. Dr. Maroon, in addition to being a neurosurgeon, is also an advisor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I see your shirt there, Dr. Maroon, very appropriate. And also has really led in the use of dietary supplements. We've been using them for recommending for our patients for about 30 years, a variety of dietary supplements. And the importance to realize that no one eats a proper diet. Everybody has a dietary deficiency, and it's very important to know which products to use. ACTIVZ has the reason we were drawn to them was very innovative products, very unique. No one else on the market has them, and they're designed for very specific issues that, again, no one in the market typically has addressed, and it's to the benefit of you and ACTIVZ to provide these products. It's very important also to know what each product does and how it works. And that's why education sessions like this are so important, because if you know what you're talking about, you will be able to sell the product. If you don't know what you're talking about, you will not sell the product. So, Dr. Maroon, without further ado, I allow you to join in and go ahead and start your presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. And it's always an honor and a privilege to share what knowledge we've accumulated over the years with such an informed audience of those with ACTIV. And what I'm going to do this morning is share with you the importance of the epigenetic aspects of ACTIV products, and also share with you a personal story on how I got involved with supplements, and also the significance of epigenetics as well as genetics in our daily lives. So I'm going to share with you a story of my own personal success, which we like to talk about, failure, which we don't like to talk about, and also what I've evolved to the secret of a balanced life, if you would. So when I first came to the University of Pittsburgh many years ago, I was appointed the chief of neurosurgery at the University Hospital. I was doing really very good research in terms of brain aneurysms, tumors, and traumatic brain injury. And I was appointed the first consultant to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I was very satisfied, flying a bit on the high side, until within the course of a week, my father died of a heart attack. My family broke up because I was so successful, if you would. And I had to quit neurosurgery. So one day I was doing brain surgery. The next day I'm living in this farmhouse in Wheeling, West Virginia, in the middle of winter, wondering what in the world am I doing here? And so I went from working in brain surgery to working in this truck stop bequeathed to my mother, heavily mortgaged in Wheeling, West Virginia. So I was pumping gas, filling up 18-wheelers, flipping hamburgers, and wondering, what in the world am I doing here? And one day, in the midst of my depression and inability to focus, the banker called me, who held the mortgage on the truck stop, and said, "We need to go for a run." I said, I'm 20 pounds overweight. I can hardly walk up a flight of steps. What do you mean run? But we made it to this high school track, and I literally walked, jogged for 4 times, said I'd never do it again. But that night was the first night I slept in literally months. So I went back the next day and did 1.25 miles, then 1.5 miles. And then pretty soon I was running 2, 3, 4, 5 miles. I subsequently learned how to swim, literally, at age 44. Got a bicycle and started to cross train, and then entered into mini triathlons, 300-meter swim, 10, 20-mile bike, and a 10K run. And within the course of a short period of time, I started to lose weight. My brain started to function again. And I changed my diet. I became very interested in nutritional aspects of my body and life. I was exercising, my emotional state improved, and I was living on a farm, so the air was pretty clean for me. And I became aware of the epigenetic factors that determine how we feel, think, work, and act. What are these? There are those factors above our genome that include nutrition, exercise, avoiding environmental toxins like drugs, alcohol, smoking, and controlling emotional health and stress, which is very dangerous and damaging to our brain, our heart, and all of our organs that result in inflammation. So if you eat a Big Mac infused with antibiotics and hormones, and then trans fatty acids on your French fries and a bottle of phosphoric acid called Coke, uh, you will activate your genes to form transcription factors and lead to inflammation, which is the common cause of cancer, heart disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's. If you don't exercise, the same thing. Polluted air, water, soil, alcohol, drugs, and also, as I mentioned, stress always leads to what I'm showing you, inflammation. So how do you counter that? And you counter that by having a healthy diet, a little bit of calorie restriction, possibly, polyphenols, and also nutritional supplements. We don't, in the Western diet, get enough of appropriate nutritional supplements. Exercise, clean air, water, and also control stress. So these are all epigenetic factors. So what does this have to do with what we're talking about now? Well, the products that I take and I recommend from Active, the first is butyric acid. And butyric acid is the compound that's found in link that energizes our intestinal cells, improves the anti-inflammatory response, repairs the mucosal barrier in our intestine, that prevents molecules from leaking through, the so-called leaky gut syndrome, and being associated with autoimmune diseases. And also it inhibits the development of cancer in the colon, which is the most common cancer now in men, actually, under 50. So the other benefits of link and butyric acid are, as I mentioned, it's anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic or cancer infected. It helps with the control of insulin, and it also is neuroprotective and has a major effect on, believe it or not, how our brain functions, particularly in such things as depression and mood disorders. So link is absorbed in the colon. So why is link better than most butyric acid supplements? Because many and most are destroyed by the gastric mucosa, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Link is protected by a proprietary method called Cyclop and Dex Key, which protects the compound from being degenerated and disintegrated in the upper intestine, in the stomach, where it's not going to do any good. So it's delayed until it's released in the intestinal tract, in the colon, and where it's very therapeutic. So in summary, butyric acid, as found in link, directly provides energy to the colon cells to enhance the mucosal barrier, decrease inflammation, and it also enhances the vitamin absorption from the foods we eat, and it increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which makes new brain cells, actually literally makes new brain cells. And serotonin, the feel-good, and dopamine, the feel-good mood elevators, which are directly affected by our intestinal tract and what we eat, and the neurotransmitters formed in the gut. It also enhances immune function and brain function. the so-called gut-brain connection, which is really a huge area of research now. The second product I want to address a few comments about is Optimen. So Optimen is a compound from Active that counters the silent inflammation that goes on in our body constantly from impaired diet, as I showed you before, lack of exercise, and stress. So as we live, we have non-feeling in our arteries and also in our brain, but silent inflammation because of an unhealthy diet, stress, elevated blood sugar, pollutions, and lack of exercise results in heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, joint pain, arthritis. Optimend addresses this silent inflammation problem. And it does so through the powerful antioxidant and ingredient Optimend. Optimend is curcumin. Curcumin is used in cooking, very highly used in India, where there's a lesser incidence of Alzheimer's and a lesser degree of autoimmune disorders. It's a powerful antioxidant. It removes, in some experimental cases, beta amyloid, which is the neurotoxin in the brain associated and diagnostic of Alzheimer's disease. And it also is preventive in terms of the development of cancer. So it supports a healthy inflammatory response, reduces minor aches and pains, and actually I use it for supporting joint flexibility and mobility. And I'm showing you my x-ray of my own knee where I developed degenerative arthritis and was taking ibuprofen for many years, actually, until I developed an ulcer and realized that ibuprofen, naproxen, all of these non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can be very toxic, leading to irritation, ulcers of our stomach, and actually hemorrhage, with 16,000, 17,000 patients dying from ibuprofen a year because of overuse. Curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory and reduces this. So we're talking about Link and Optimend, both products with very powerful neuroprotective and anti-inflammatory effects. So the final product I'd like to address a few comments is Genomex. Genomex triggers the body's antioxidant response by activating a activating factor, transcription factor called NRF2. NRF2 helps counter oxidative stress. And this product has rosemary, gingerol, and luteolin, all natural products that affect the immune system, are anti-inflammatory, and also powerful antioxidants. So what do we mean by antioxidants? Well, as every cell in our body utilizes glucose and oxygen to make ATP, energy, in the process of doing so, free radicals are generated. Think of the exhaust of your car when it burns gasoline. The carbon dioxide and monoxide that is generated can be toxic. Well, free radicals, unless they're squelched by antioxidants, are damaging to the DNA, to the mitochondria, and impedes the function of the generation of energy. NRF2 protects the cells from oxidative damage, and it does so by generating an antioxidant called glutathione. Glutathione is the most potent antioxidant in the brain. We have demonstrated with very sophisticated neuroimaging called magnetic resonance spectroscopy that in Alzheimer's disease and in neurodegenerative disease of Parkinson's disease, that glutathione is markedly deficient. And these are just a few of the 7 papers that Dr. Pravet Mandal, former director of the Indian National Brain Institute in India, and I and our colleagues have published recently, and you can Google these if you'd like. And it's the relationship of glutathione to Alzheimer's disease and also Parkinson's disease. And we also believe oxidative stress is a pathogenetic factor in the development of ALS. So that any way we can increase glutathione has the potential of reducing the effects of Alzheimer's and also Parkinson's disease, we believe, and we hope to show this with experimental studies that we are looking to carry out this year at the University of Pittsburgh. So NRF2 balances the antioxidant oxidative stress factor that occurs constantly in our bodies. So that, in summary then, our bodies are constantly striving towards homeostasis or balance. And the active products that I've mentioned, Link for gut energy, Optimend for reducing inflammation, and Genomex to reduce oxidative stress, I think are actually very scientifically based, effective modulators to help us attain balance both in our body and our mind. And they're compounds that I personally take daily, and I'm very pleased and proud to support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Maroon. That was great. And I hopefully our audience was able to understand that. It's very important to know the ingredients of the products, and most likely David Brown and his team will be able to provide this information to you if you don't have it already. So we thank you for joining us today and hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you.
My pleasure, Jeff. Thank you.